All right. Thank you again to everyone for attending today's session. Today, we will be doing a Discover Viterbi webinar. We are highlighting our systems architecting and engineering programs with Professor Azad Madni. This is with the USC Viterbi School of Engineering. My name is Megan Balding, and I am with the USC School of Engineering and our Office of Graduate and Professional Programs. Professor Madni is here with me today and will be presenting a little bit later on in the presentation. Before getting started, I just wanted to go over some quick housekeeping items for the presentation today. The first thing I want to note is that for those attending the live presentation, we will be sending out a copy of the slides after the session. So there's a lot of really great information included in the next several slides, and we want to make sure you get all of that. So you do not have to worry about writing any of this down. We will be sending a follow-up email with a copy of the slides. Additionally, we highly encourage you to ask questions throughout the information session. We do have a designated time at the end of the session where we will be addressing those questions with Professor Madni, but we definitely want you to just go ahead and ask those questions whenever they come around. You can use the Q&A panel that should be showing up on the right of your screen. Otherwise, you can click on the Q&A option at the very bottom in the circular menu. So those are some quick items. So again, please do continue to ask questions throughout the session. We will leave some time at the end today to go over those directly. So today's program will quickly discuss the University of Southern California and the USC Viterbi School of Engineering, but the majority of today's presentation will really focus on our systems architecting and engineering programs. We will provide a program overview of the master's program and graduate certificate options. We'll also go over the application criteria in order to get started. Following that, we'll quickly discuss DENA Viterbi, which is our online delivery method here at USC, which gives you the opportunity to pursue your master's degree or graduate certificate from a distance. So we'll go over briefly how that works and the benefits of doing that program, especially if you're a working professional. We will go over the tuition and fee structure, and then, like I mentioned, at the end of the session today, we do leave time for question and answer. So we want to make sure that we address any of those questions that you may have. So we'll get started and go as quickly as we can through the formal presentation to have plenty of time for your questions. If you've never been to the University of Southern California, these are some images from around campus. USC itself is the oldest private university in the Western United States. We were founded in 1880. We currently have just over 47,000 students with about 20,000 undergraduate students and 27,500 graduate students. We have over 4,300 full-time faculty members and a diverse student population with students coming from all 50 states and over 100 countries. The campus itself is located in Los Angeles. We're just a few minutes south of the downtown LA area, which does mean we are strategically located in the major metropolitan city of Los Angeles, which gives us easy access to a lot of the really exciting things that are happening in our area. If you're in the aerospace and defense industry, you're probably familiar with the Aerospace and Defense Corridor down in El Segundo. We have a growing tech field and lots of companies coming into the beaches area, what we call Silicon Beach here. That is showing a lot of the tech industry. Close by in San Diego, of course, we have a lot of the biotech research and development going on there, as well as many other things. So our location itself is very strategically located to provide access to a number of the industries that are really growing and expanding throughout the United States and the world. In terms of the Viterbi School of Engineering, a quick overview of the school here. We have 8 academic departments. We'll be, again, focusing on our systems architecting and engineering program for today's presentation, but we do offer a number of degrees throughout all of our 8 academic department areas. We have 189 tenure-track faculty within the Viterbi School. 16 of those faculty members are members of the National Academy of Engineering. Over 60 have received the National Science Foundation Career, National, and Presidential Young Investigator Awards as well. We have over 76,000 engineering alumni located throughout the world, and a current student population of just over 2,500 undergraduate students and just over 5,700 graduate students. Our graduate students consist of our masters, both on campus and online, as well as our doctoral students. In terms of the research, the Viterbi School is considered a leader in funded research throughout the university. We have over 35 research centers housed within the Viterbi School alone and over $204 million in research expenditures annually. This slide just quickly mentions some of our recent rankings. The U.S. News & World Report consistently ranks the Viterbi School of Engineering as a top graduate engineering program overall. Additionally, our online graduate engineering programs are consistently ranked the #1 program in computer science for online graduate programs, as well as we are currently ranked the #2 online graduate engineering programs across all 40 programs that we offer. If you happen to be in the military or a veteran, we always like to mention the fact that U.S. News & World Report consistently ranks us one of the top online graduate engineering programs for veterans as well, as you can see here. In terms of our some of our points of distinction, USC Viterbi School of Engineering has a strong international reputation for excellence. This is attributed to the research that goes on here at the Viterbi School, our faculty that have made names for themselves within their industries and fields of study, as well, of course, as our alumni, the engineers that have completed their program within the Viterbi School and have gone on to also become leaders within their fields. We call our alums here as part of the Trojan Family Network, so you may have heard that mentioned a time or two. The Trojan Family Network is our network of engineering alumni from the School of Engineering here at USC, but of course all USC alumni are part of that Trojan Family Network, and I believe that network is over 200,000 alumni strong currently. We have engineering programs that are available online, on site, and on campus. We'll be focusing today's program on our master's programs and graduate certificate program in systems architecting and engineering, which is available both here on USC's campus in Los Angeles as well as online. We, of course, offer a wide range of programs at the doctoral, master's, and bachelor's level. I mentioned graduate certificate. We do have a number of graduate certificates. Graduate certificates are half the units of a master's degree. So during today's presentation, Professor Madni will be discussing a little bit more about the Systems Architecting and Engineering graduate certificate and why you may choose that route versus a master's degree. We also offer short courses and customized programs. These are continuing education offerings that are available through the Viterbi School of Engineering. Those programs are available online on site, meaning we can come to your organization, as well as on campus. I mentioned our position as a leader in research, both here at the university as well as across the United States. We have a highly interdisciplinary research environment here at USC. There is not enough time to go over all the exciting research that's currently happening at the university and specifically within the Viterbi School of Engineering. But I do encourage you to visit our website for more information. You can go to viterbischool.usc.edu for a full list of all of our research centers and links to each of their individual sites. We have diverse research areas in areas such as robotics, software engineering, sensor networks, vision sciences, automated construction, and photonics. Again, this is just a quick overview and touch points of some of our research areas. With over 35 research centers, you can imagine that we have a lot of exciting things going on here at the Viterbi School. So again, I do encourage you to visit the website to learn more about it. One of the exciting things that and ways that we are able to become such a strong leader in this area is because of our industrial partnerships and collaborations. And a lot of that does have the benefit provided to us by the benefit of being located here in Los Angeles and so close to many major corporations and organizations doing exciting research in the fields. All right, so without further ado, I do want to introduce Professor Madni. Professor Madni is the Executive Director of the Systems Architecting and Engineering program here at USC Viterbi. He's also a professor in our Department of Astronautical Engineering. He was the 2019 William B. Johnson International Interprofessional Founders Award winner from the Engineers Council. He was also the 2019 prestigious Pioneering Educator Award winner from the Orange County Engineering Council. Some of his other awards include the 2018 INCOSE Outstanding Service Award and the 2011 INCOSE Pioneer Award. He is a fellow of the AAS, the AIAA, the IEEE, INCOSE, IETE, and SDPS. We've also listed a number of the courses that he has developed within the Systems Architecting and Engineering program. So I know these are just numbers to you right now, but Professor Madni will be taking over the presentation here shortly, and we'll be discussing these courses in more detail so you can really get an understanding of the type of program offerings that are involved in this degree program. So Professor Madni, I would love to have you take over at this point and proceed with the presentation.
Thank you, Megan. Can everyone hear me? Okay. All right. So I want to kind of just introduce you to 3 books that are used in the course. They are 2 of them are authored books. One is written by me, one is co-written by me, and the other one is a edited volume. And you can see that these books are all associated with 4 different courses. And I wanted to kind of just let you know that these are available at the USC library. Should you choose to get a hard copy, you can also download a e-book version of that book, and that's perfectly all right as well. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit about what makes this program unique. The program was founded by Eberhard Richten, who was the former DARPA director, the person who pioneered the Deep Space Network at Jet Propulsion Lab under NASA auspices. And he was one of the pioneers in terms of pursuing the whole area of systems architecting because he identified that as somewhat separate from systems engineering. In those days, that term did not exist, but he was quite determined to make that happen, and now you do see the word systems architecting in the engineering lexicon. And the major difference that you see in systems architecting and system engineering is the fact that systems architecting is more of a synthetic or an integrative process, whereas systems engineering tends to be more analytic. And so the two work hand in hand to create a responsive system. We're also the only program so far with 2 INCOSE Pioneer Award winners, one being Eb Richten, the other is myself. We have several fellows in professional societies who are very active in these societies. The American Association for the Advancement of Science. We have 10 IEEE fellows. We have 7 INCOSE fellows, 2 AIAA fellows, and 1 Institute of Industrial and Systems Engineering fellow. Our participation in the professional society is both at the faculty level and at the student level. Our students are quite active in INCOSE, IEEE, AIAA, and CSER. CSER stands for the Conference on Systems Engineering Research that USC co-founded with Stevens Institute. Every 3 years, we host that conference at USC. When it is at USC, I'm the general chair, and we bring people from industry, from academia, lots and lots of students who want to pursue research from all over the world. We are also the first to form the INCOSE Student Division in Southern California, and then that became a model and a blueprint for other universities to follow in the Southern California region. As I noted that we are the co-founder and organizer of the Conference on System Engineering Research, I also happen to be the co-founder and the founding chair of IEEE's Systems Man and Cybernetics Technical Committee on Model-Based Systems Engineering. And so a lot of our students, a lot of our faculty are active in this particular technical committee, which happened to win the most influential technical committee award in 2017. Now, the way we teach and the way we conduct research, there is great synergy between the two, because our research produces new material that we feed into courses, and our teaching uncovers new areas for research based on the Q&A and the interactions we have with our students. The other important thing that I'd like to mention to you that this is the longest running program in systems engineering in the country. And we have a storytelling approach to material which makes us uniquely different. We introduce complex concepts first within the rubric of stories, and then we go into the quantitative methods, and so that the concepts become much more sticky, and you retain them longer. We have, of course, leading industrial professionals who teach in our program, and that's something to be recognized. Top adjunct faculty, and they're all from the industry, aerospace industry, primarily in the immediate neighborhood, and they all come from top universities like MIT, Berkeley, UCLA, USC, Caltech, etc. The program was named the Top Information Systems Master's Program in 2017 by the Masters in Data Science organization. And you see there a link if you want to get additional information on the SA program. Click on that link and you should be able to get what you want there. A few interesting factoids about the program. Like I said, we have a very active student division of NCOSE LA chapter, work very closely with that. It gives you an opportunity to network with students and faculty, and there are ample opportunity. We have these events several times a year. Not only is the student division pretty active, but also the NCOSE LA chapter, which is the local chapter. It has won the Platinum Award every year. Many of the presidents, past and present, have been my former students. You have an opportunity to network there with engineers in space, aerospace, medical devices, energy sectors, and now even the entertainment sector. And then we have, of course, run the Conference on Systems Engineering Research. You have an opportunity to present your technical papers in terms of your research, network with fellow researchers at that conferences. This year, the conference is in Washington, D.C. The host is Stevens Institute and Virginia Tech. Next year, it's going to be USC is going to be the host, and I certainly encourage you to join and contribute and participate in that conference. We're also quite active in the NCOSE LA Mini Conference, which is a regional conference that covers California, Arizona, and adjacent areas. Once again, you have an opportunity to network with the industry professionals, students, and faculty from the LA region. Some of the skills that we have in demand in our immediate neighborhood in terms of industries, there's great demand for systems architecting. Everyone wants to have system thinking. Importantly, with the growth of systems and complexity of systems, systems integration and systems integration is a highly desirable topic, and we have a dedicated course on that subject. Another area that is quite popular is the whole area of concept of operations prototyping, and in fact, we are introducing a new course that is going to bring in digital engineering as part of that. So the whole notion of digital twin technology and how you can create a digital twin of a physical twin and run experiments on that and be able to then provide the findings in terms of improvements on the physical side, physical twin. Model-based system engineering is, we are the earliest proponents of this field and have an ongoing course for a very long time. The other thing is the whole area of simulation-based modeling and analysis is very, very important now, again, because of complexity, and what you're seeing is a trend. There's a growing convergence now between the modeling and simulation community and the model-based system engineering community, which has been historically separate. They come from different lineages, they come from different backgrounds, but now these communities are beginning to converge, which is a really good thing for systems engineering. The other area that we are quite active in is the whole area of human system integration, and with a specific focus on cyber-physical human systems, and within that, focus on adaptive cyber-physical human systems with a focus on machine learning. The next area that we are quite active in is in resilience engineering, because as systems get more complex, as they become more interdependent, as they become more networked, resilience becomes a very, very important thing to have high availability systems and to have high dependability in your systems and have the ability for the system to continue to adapt to all kinds of disruptions. So this is a major area, and we have a dedicated course on that. And then the last two things are agile development, that I'm sure most people are familiar with, and then lean operations. So that basically rounds out the skill set that we find is in high demand in our industry sectors, and we have a course in each of those areas. Some of the potential employers that our students go to are in the aerospace and automotive industries. We have, of course, have Boeing and Northrop Grumman and Raytheon, as well as SpaceX, General Motors, and Tesla. We have students in all of these places. We also have quite a few students that work at federally funded R&D centers and national labs, specifically Aerospace Corporation, Jet Propulsion Lab, MITRE, and RAND Corporation. We also have quite a few students in the medical devices and the healthcare organizations, including Medtronic, Kaiser Permanente, and Veterans Administration. When it comes to web platform companies, we have students in Google, Amazon, and Facebook, and various other smaller companies, startups, and things of that nature where people have gone to. When it comes to state and city organizations, our students are working in the area, the LA Department of Water and Power and the Port of Los Angeles. So these are all the potential employers. It's a very rich area for employers and employees here. Some of the program offerings that we have, of course, we have the master's degree in systems architecting and engineering. That's our flagship program. And then we have 3 certificates. One is the graduate certificate in systems architecting and engineering, which is comprised of software and systems architecting courses. We also have a graduate certificate in software architecture, where the SAE program and the computer science department collaborate to offer the certificate. And then finally, we have a net-centric system, which I think is going to be better named cloud computing or something of that nature to keep up with the terminology, but all the content has been upgraded. The title has not yet been fully changed. Now, if you look at the master's program, there's a breakdown here that you can see between required courses and elective courses. In the required courses, you can take one of the following courses: Economic Consideration for System Engineering, which is an SAE course. If you happen to be in the progressive degree program, you could also take ISC 460, which is Engineering Economy, which fulfills the same needs, satisfies that requirement. The other core courses are SA 541, which is System Engineering Theory and Practice, and 542, which is Advanced Topics in System Engineering. Then there is SA 549, which is your entry course. The first course you ever take when you come to the SA program is Systems Architecting. That's the course that I teach. And so that gets you off, and we cover all the different courses and what you're going to get from the other courses. So the students that take that course have a good idea of what the other courses are, and they can make some pretty good informed decisions on that basis. And then you have a choice between taking model-based systems architecting and engineering, or systems and system-of-system integration. At this point, you have a choice between taking these 2 courses. It is our intent to make both courses core courses in the very near future. And then you have elective courses. Elective courses fall into 2 categories: technical management and general technical area. We have a whole list of courses for you to choose from, and you can pick one of them to satisfy a 3-unit requirement for technical management area and a 3-unit requirement for the general technical area. If it turns out that for some reason none of these courses appeal to you and you would like to replace it with some other course, depending on the relevance of that course to your overall program, we can actually go ahead and approve that as well. So we've done that from time to time as well. But you have a very rich set of courses to choose from. Very rarely do you want to go outside that. But should you want to do that, and if it's relevant, then of course I will go ahead and try to approve that. Now we come into technical specialization area, and this is a very large set. Here's a smattering of some of the technical specializations. You're taking 9 units in the specialty area, and that means you're taking 3 courses. So the first one is an aerospace and mechanical system. You can specialize in that, or you can specialize in artificial intelligence and neural networks, machine learning. You can specialize in automation and control. You can specialize in communication signal processing. You can also specialize in computer information systems as well as construction. Then we have a specialty area also called cybersecurity, engineering management system, integrated media systems, manufacturing systems, net-centric systems, software process architecture, and then a general systems specialization where you take additional deeper courses in the SAE program. The application criteria for the master's: as an undergraduate degree with a Bachelor of Science in engineering or in math or some of the hard sciences will suffice, and it has to be from a regionally accredited university. Industry experience is highly desirable but not required. A cumulative undergraduate GPA of 3.0 on a 4.0 scale is recommended to gain admission. And of course, you want to get satisfactory scores on the GRE, and we will honor the GRE exam that are at 5 years or less. You also need to supply your resume or your curriculum vitae, and the supplementary materials are 3 letters of recommendation that's required, and you need to write a statement of purpose. For foreign students, you also need to be able to take TOEFL to show your proficiency in the English language. Now, we have an interesting feature in the SAE program that is not a university-wide feature. It's not even a Viterbi-wide feature, but it's a way that you can get the GRE requirement waived, and this only applies to the Master of Science in Systems Architecting and Engineering. So, there are two ways to waive the GRE requirement for the MS. And the first way is you have to have an undergraduate degree in engineering with an overall GPA of 3.0 or higher, plus either a master's degree in engineering or an MBA degree. And if you have that, then we can waive that requirement. You can also come in as what's called a limited status student. A limited status student has somebody that has a grade of B or better on each of the 4 core courses, which is 541, 542, 549, and 560. And if you have done B or better each of the courses, then you qualify for a waiver in terms of not having to take a GRE.
And sorry to interrupt, Professor Madni. I just want to mention, I will be discussing, this is Megan Balding, I will be discussing the limited student option later on in the presentation so that you all understand how you can enroll in courses as a limited status student to meet this waiver. And I do just want to, I know Professor Madni mentioned this, but it is a question we get often. I do just want to reiterate that this GRE waiver option is only for the MS in Systems Architecting and Engineering. It does not apply to any other degree program. So additionally, I want to just encourage anyone to answer. I saw we had a few additional individuals join us after the introductions. So please do, as I mentioned earlier, send over any questions that you may have in the Q&A section on WebEx, and we will be addressing those at the end of the session today. So Professor Madni, I apologize for jumping in there.
Okay, that's fine. Now, if you look at the graduate certificates, here are some of the details. You take 5 of the following courses that you see here. So you have the Economic Consideration of System Engineering 560. Once again, you have a choice between that and 460, which is Engineering Economy. Then you have a couple of courses that you can take from the Industrial and System Engineering, such as Engineering Project Management or Management of Engineering Teams. From within the SAE program, you have a choice of Systems Engineering Theory and Practice, Advanced Topics in Systems Engineering, Model-Based System Engineering, Systems Architecting, and a course that we started only about 2 or 3 years ago, which is called Resilient Systems and System of Systems. So these, you'd have 15 units, which is really 5 courses from this set. The application criteria for the certificate is also quite straightforward. You have to have an undergraduate degree, preferably a Bachelor of Science in Engineering, Math, or a Hard Science from a regionally accredited university as before. Industry experience, once again, is recommended. It's desired but not required. To be competitive, you want to have a graduate undergraduate GPA of at least 3.0 on a 4.0 scale. Once again, you need to submit your resume or a curriculum vitae, 3 letters of recommendation, and for international students, you need to take the TOEFL. All courses that you have taken in this particular certificate can potentially apply to the master's program in Systems Architecting and Engineering if you get admitted to the master's program. So all these things will transfer over. The required courses in software architecture are basically 4. 2 of them are from computer science, and 2 of them are from Systems Architecting and Engineering. The ones from Systems Architecting and Engineering are Systems Architecting and Model-Based Systems Architecting and Engineering. The ones from computer science are Requirements Engineering and Software Architecture. And then you have electives, which is a 3 or 4 units thing, 1 course that you take from an approved list, and there are many, many courses to choose from. The application criteria, once again, for the graduate certificate in software architecture is pretty much the same. An undergrad degree in engineering, math, or science from a regionally accredited university. A substantial background in computing is a requirement for this. To be competitive, you need to have, once again, a GPA of 3.0. You need to supply your resume or CV as required. Once again, a statement of purpose in this case is optional. You may not need because it's a certificate program, you don't have to have a statement of purpose. And letters of recommendation are also optional. But you do have to take a TOEFL International Applicants exam if English is a second language for you. And then finally, you have the net-centric grad certificate. The required courses for that is 574, which is being replaced by another course. And then you end up choosing 4 courses from one of the areas of emphasis, which are 12 to 16 units, with having either a computer science emphasis or electrical engineering emphasis. And there's a whole list of these courses to choose from in the catalog. And you can decide which ones you want to take in that regard. Once again, the requirements are pretty much the same. A graduate degree in math or hard science from a regionally accredited university. A minimum of 3 years of industrial experience is highly recommended in this case. And to be competitive, you need to have 3.0 GPA. And once again, a resume or a CV is required. Letters of recommendation and statement of purposes are optional. But for foreign students, international applicants, you still need a TOEFL if English is your second language. Here are the deadlines you can take over. Megan.
Okay, in terms of the upcoming application deadlines, technically the deadline for fall of 2019 was January 15th. I will mention here, though, if you are interested in pursuing your program online via Den at Viterbi, we may be able to provide you with a deadline extension. So you can email us at the email indicated at the bottom of the slide here, den@viterbi.usc.edu for more information. The next available application cycle for all applicants will be spring of 2019. That is, I apologize. I should say spring of 2020. That is to get started next January. The deadline for materials there is September 15th of 2019. If you are interested in scholarship consideration as an on-campus student, you do have to submit by an earlier deadline of August 31st. Following that, the next fall deadline will be, again, January 15th of 2020 in terms of all of your application materials. For on-campus student scholarship consideration, again, please note the earlier application deadline of December 15th. So once again, if you're interested in applying for fall of 2019 as an Den at Viterbi student, we may be able to provide you with an extension. You can email us for more information. Otherwise, the next available application cycle will be for spring of 2020, and that deadline is September 15th. We've included some helpful links here. If you're interested in knowing which programs are available via Den, we have included that in today's presentation, but you can visit a full listing there. Also, a direct link to the graduate application is available. So, Professor Madni, one of the questions that we often get, you went over previously some of the companies that our students go on to work for, but maybe you could talk a little bit about their roles within these organizations and positions that they hold.
Certainly. So, one of the most important roles, and that is becoming increasingly more important over the last several years, is the role of a system architect. Many of my students who have finished my degrees with me have gone on to become solution architect or system architect at companies like SAIC, Raytheon, Northrop Grumman, and web platform companies. So there's a big demand for system architects. And then there is a huge demand for people who are in the whole area of verification, validation, and testing. And because we have some very interesting courses in that area, our students come pretty well equipped to go and perform as verification and test engineers, and they do well working at Edwards Air Force Base. They're working in Palmdale at various aerospace facilities and with the Air Force. So that's another big area. Then there are people who actually go and work in the whole area of what's called software-intensive systems. And these are people that require both a software background and a systems background, and because the lines are blurring between software and system, the software-intensive system, we make sure that we bring enough of a flavor of software so that our students are well-equipped to take on the job of architecting software-intensive systems. The other area that our students go and have been quite successful in is in the area of cybersecurity and people who specialize in areas like resilience engineering, engineering of resilient systems, or engineering of agile systems, engineering of agile and resilient systems, and cybersecurity. So a lot of our people are placed in those capacities as well. So those are the basic fundamental core areas that our students get jobs in. And the industries that they get these jobs in, believe it or not, range all the way from aerospace, defense, automotive, to entertainment, healthcare, and medical devices.
So the next few slides I'll go over discuss a little bit more about the Viterbi School and some of our unique delivery options. So in terms of the way you can pursue your program at the master's level, within systems architecting and engineering and some of our other degree programs, there are two ways to pursue your degree program. The first is on campus. This is the traditional method, and generally this is how our full-time students are pursuing their degree program. Generally, as a full-time student, you're taking around 3 classes per semester, and it's taking about 1.5 to 2 years to complete your degree program. We have another option available, which we've mentioned briefly in the previous slides, which is online delivery via Viterbi. This is generally the delivery pursued by working professionals that are interested in earning a master's degree while maintaining their role within an organization. These students tend to be taking classes part-time while they work full-time, which means they're taking around 1 to 2 classes per semester. So it is taking them a little bit longer to complete the program, on average in about 2.5 to 3 years to complete a master's degree. The next couple slides will just quickly introduce our online delivery. If you're interested in learning more, we do have webinars that are specific to this subject once a month. We invite you to attend those. The next available webinar will be on March 20th. The Viterbi School of Engineering uses a state-of-the-art proprietary web-based delivery system that enables students from around the world to access classes live, on demand, or by download. So you are able to view your classes in a way that meets the needs that you may have as a working professional. Our Viterbi students are registering in and taking the same classes as their on-campus counterparts. They're viewing the same lectures with fresh content every semester. The difference is you're viewing those lectures from your home or office, wherever it may make the most sense, as opposed to coming here to USC's campus. You have the ability to have highly interactive discussions with professors and peers. Homework is submitted electronically, and exams are done at proctored testing centers near your home or office. If you happen to live in the greater Los Angeles area, you would come to USC to take your examinations. Otherwise, you'd work with our exams coordinator to identify your local testing center. The following slide just gives you an overview of the similarities and some of the differences between our Viterbi and on-campus students. In terms of the program admission requirements, everything that Professor Madni discussed earlier in terms of the requirements, what is needed to apply to each of the degree programs, all of that is going to be the same regardless of your intended delivery. Course lectures are done weekly. They're either delivered online with Interactivity as an online student, or of course in a traditional on-campus method if you're an on-campus student here at USC. The archives of the lectures. So the lectures are posted within a few minutes of being completed here on campus. You have access to those lectures and any course documents so that you can access them throughout the week or in the evenings for our online students. Of quick note, our on-campus students also have access to these archives, which is a great tool in terms of a review purpose. So we definitely see a spike in the servers right before midterm and final exams when all of our students are able to utilize these recorded lectures to review portions of a previous lecture maybe earlier in the semester that may need some review time. As I mentioned, assignments are submitted according to the same deadlines. They are just done so electronically if you are an online student. Exams are done at proctored locations in your area, as opposed to, of course, an on-campus student that would take their exam here at USC. I mentioned that our online students tend to be working professionals, which means they're taking a lighter course load of about 1 to 2 classes in a semester. But ultimately, the degree completion requirements are exactly the same, regardless of whether you're pursuing the program online or on campus, which means the diploma you receive is the same. It does not indicate that the degree was the degree that you pursued was online. It will be the same Master of Science in Systems Architecting and Engineering that is received whether the program was pursued here at USC or from a distance. This is a quick snapshot of one of our classrooms. I think it just does a good job at showing some of the makeup of how truly integrated the online and on-campus experience is. There is a camera operator located in the back of every classroom that captures everything that's happening within that classroom so that you are able to see it and view it as a distance student. This is a snapshot of our e-learning system, Desire to Learn. This is what you would be viewing when you see the archive lecture. This is how you're able to view the video as well as any notes that are being done in class. This faculty member is utilizing the smart board inside the classroom, so all the calculations are easily captured. Another quick snapshot of the e-learning system and how it can be used to facilitate your lectures. In terms of interactivity, our Dena Viterbi students are provided access to their own meeting rooms, which you can utilize to enable interactivity with your fellow classmates. Depending on the class, you may have a group project or a project that needs to be presented in lieu of a midterm and final exam. So we provide you with the tools necessary to pursue that project, whether it's with you and fellow distance students or maybe as a distance student and on-campus students. So all of our students have access to Blue Jeans, which is a video conferencing, phone conferencing, desktop sharing system that enables you to connect with your fellow classmates. As a distance student, you do have the option to participate via WebEx, which enables you to call in during live lectures and ask questions. You can also participate in live chats and threaded discussion boards. So a question we receive is there any difference between earning a master's degree on campus via Dena Viterbi? And the answer is no. Dena Viterbi is a delivery method. Students adhere to the same admission criteria, curriculum, exams and homework assignments, and the academic standards and graduation requirements are exactly the same, regardless of how your lectures are delivered. Therefore, you earn the same diploma whether you pursue the degree on campus or online through Dena Viterbi. So I'm going to just go over some quick Dena Viterbi information here, as well as the next few slides, which will just have a quick overview, and then we'll get to some of your questions. So again, as a reminder, if you have any questions, please do for Professor Madni in terms of the courses or anything that you may have question-wise, please send that over through the Q&A panel. We'll make sure to get to that. In terms of limited status, so limited status enrollment allows strong candidates to begin coursework before formal admission via Dena Viterbi. So Professor Madni mentioned this earlier because this is the method in which you're able to take courses to qualify for the GRE waiver. As a limited status student, you are enrolled in you can enroll in a maximum of 12 units, which can be applied toward a degree program if admitted. But limited status enrollment does not guarantee admission. So that is something important to realize. To be qualified for limited status, you need to have an undergraduate degree in engineering, math, or hard science from a regionally accredited institution with a cumulative undergraduate GPA of 3.0 or above. If you qualify, you can begin taking classes here at USC Viterbi as early as this summer. So summer classes begin in May. And if qualified as a limited status student, you can begin taking your first class this summer to get started on your program. Especially if you're interested in the GRE waiver, this is a great way to get started on that coursework and then apply for formal admission. Tuition deferment program is a great option for those of you that may be working at a company that is providing tuition assistance. It enables you to defer the upfront payment of tuition until after the semester is over. Tuition is going to be due the Friday before classes begin. Tuition deferment program enables those that are receiving 75 to 100% of their tuition via tuition assistance from the organization to defer that payment until a few weeks after the semester has been finalized. This enables you to get your final grades for the class and submit all your internal paperwork so that you avoid any out-of-pocket expenses or minimize it as much as possible. If you're interested in more information on that, you can visit the link provided. And so some quick items here for those interested in taking classes on campus. We encourage you to visit USC's campus. You can take a tour. You can join us for one of our on-campus events that are held in the fall. And then you can start your application. So the application currently for on-campus students should be available in July for the spring 2020 semester. For those of you interested in taking classes online via Dena Viterbi, as I mentioned, you can begin classes as a limited status student as early as this summer if you're qualified, or you can pursue your application by getting that started at the link provided. Again, if you're interested in starting this fall of 2019, there may still be time to apply for formal admission. You just have to email us for more information if you are a Dennett Viterbi student. The following is an overview of the tuition and fees for the current academic year. Just as a note, tuition can increase each semester or each academic year, so just keep that in mind. But the current per unit cost is $2,005. Most of the systems architecting and engineering courses that you'll be taking are going to be 3 units. So your per course cost will be around $6,000. Additional fees to keep in mind, there are, depending on whether you are an on-campus or online student, the fee structure is a bit different. So you can view an overview of that by visiting the link provided. All right, so the following is our contact information. We have, if you're interested in pursuing the program on campus, please email viterbi.gradprograms@usc.edu. If you're interested in the online program, den@viterbi.usc.edu. If you would like to call us, we encourage you to call and ask questions directly. You can reach us at the number provided. You can also visit our website for lots and lots of additional information. So I'd like to invite you all to send over any questions that you may have for Professor Madni or myself in regards to the program or just in general about USC Viterbi. Professor Madni, one question that we often receive is why someone would look into pursuing the graduate certificate program as opposed to going into a master's program directly.
Right. So many times there are students who are, of course, working full-time, but they also have a family, and it becomes hard for them to commit to a master's program completely. So what they do is they take a dip into, just taste the waters with a certificate program, get that done, have that on your resume. It helps you with your annual review. And then I think if you've done that well and you've seen that you can handle the load, then you can go ahead and try and apply for the master's program. So it's a good way to test out just how much discretionary time you have to devote to this, especially if you're working full-time and also are taking care of a family.
If a prospective student is interested in pursuing a doctoral program, what would their path be if they started with the master's in systems architecting and engineering?
So the master's program will conclude after you have taken 30 units. Prior to that conclusion, you can apply to the PhD program in astronautical engineering, which has 2 tracks. One of the tracks is in astronautics, and the other track is in systems architecting and engineering. So many of my students right now are part of that systems architecting and engineering doctoral track within the astronautical engineering program.
For a prospective distance student, could you maybe talk a little bit about projects that may be part of their coursework and how that works as a distance student, and how, are projects common in the program, or is that something that they may just see once or twice in a course?
So there are certain courses that have a term paper at the end, and you get a chance to pick a complex system, analyze it in terms of its architecture, get into the head of the architect that built the system and say, what was the architect thinking about when he built this particular system? What assumptions the architect made? How did the architect compose the system? What are the subsystems, et cetera, et cetera? And you end up turning in a term paper of 8 to 10 pages at the end. If the term paper is high quality, then I actually help you get it published in a reputable peer-reviewed conference and potentially even in a journal publication. The areas of research that I have that are ongoing is with the Department of Defense, with aerospace companies, and with automotive companies. So we do a lot of work in the area of self-driving cars, in terms of autonomous vehicle safety, machine learning and autonomous systems. We also do a lot of work in the area of multi-UAV swarms of quadcopters or swarms of unmanned aerial vehicles performing military or non-military mission like disaster relief or humanitarian assistance. Now, how do you go about managing and controlling these autonomous systems? So the whole area of autonomy and the whole area of human in the loop in cyber physical human systems is a big focus area of research. We also do quite a bit of work in the area of formal methods, which are methods where you can prove the correctness of your models and argue that the system is abiding by that. And the whole idea of these formal verification is correct by construction. The basic argument goes as follows. If these assertions are true about the environment, then I can guarantee that these behaviors will be performed by my system. So that's the kind of verification validation testing that we can do. It can really cut down the operational testing time with actual hardware. So this is the area of research, and a lot of people are working in this space with us. And we are working both in the aerospace, automotive, and also non-military domains.
Great. Another question that we have from one of our participants. This individual is considering two different programs. One is the MS in Systems Architecting and Engineering, and one is the MS in Astronautical Engineering. And they're just wondering if you could maybe go into some of the differences between the two programs.
Sure. So if you take the Systems Architecting and Engineering program, you can do 3 courses, 9 units of specialization in astronautics. So what happens is you can look at yourself having a kind of a T-shaped, T model, where you have a horizontal cut that gives you the Systems Architecting and Engineering, and then the vertical cut could be in astronautical engineering. Although I personally believe that at this point, T is not enough. You have to have essentially a pie-shaped model. Pi in terms of the Greek letter pi, where you have 2 legs and one table that sits on top of them. Now, if you took this course in astronautics, then you would be taking courses in propulsion and aircraft dynamics and plasma and things of that nature. But it does not have any systems engineering options. Those are all astronautics courses taught by all astronautics instructors. But in systems architecting and engineering, you have the flexibility to essentially have a specialization in astronautics up to 3 courses, which are 9 units of the total program, given the fact that 30 units is the total program, the number of units you need to graduate.
Perfect. I believe that is the last of our questions for today. So I just want to thank all of the individuals that attended today's session for taking the time out of your busy days. We know how busy the day can be, and we appreciate you joining us to learn more about this session. For those individuals that may be watching the recording of this session, I do want to encourage you, if you have any questions, to contact us at the email address provided on the screen. We're always happy to email or call and set up a phone time to discuss with you any questions that you may have in terms of getting more information about this program or just about the USC and Viterbi School in general. Professor Madni, thank you so much for your time.
And I'd like to wish the best of luck to all the students in attendance here, and I hope that you are able to pursue your career the way you want to. And we certainly have a good program here, and should you apply here, I think you'll get a first-rate education. So good luck to all of you, and I'm out.
Yes, and thank you all very much for attending, and do not hesitate to give us to reach out for more information. Thanks, and have a wonderful day.